Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki, Sean, and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 41, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend Brian Hall.
Welcome to Movie Foam. This is episode 41. I'm Zaki Hassan.
Movie phone?
Yeah,
damn it.
Did you say movie phone?
I think you said movie phone.
I did. I think I'm so used to growing up with it. Welcome to Movie Phone. You have
I feel bad for that guy. He's probably out of work.
We don't need him anymore. We have thumbs and a phone. So
we're all very happy with how much technology has made life easier. We don't think about who it hurts. What about Mr. Movie Phone?
Hey, I'm raising a glass to Mr. Movie Phone.
And he actually did raise a glass. So, also along is Sean Coyle.
An interplexing beacon. Interplexing.
Wow,
That was for you, Zaki.
don't pin that on me.
Was that Sean Connery?
It's that's Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
In Star Trek: First Contact.
That is correct.
Which, by the way, a little bit of trivia, is the very first movie that Sean and I saw together.
And that's why I chose to mention that on our Valentine's Day episode.
It's true.
Ah!
He did get to first base. So and usually the way we start things off, we talk about Sean's shows. Sean, what have you been watching? Now, we established that you're watching Downton Abbey, so I don't think we need to get into that again.
I'm still watching Downton Abbey.
I desperately want to know what's going on with Bates.
Well, you're up to speed.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to bait you here.
But
Bates.
Mr. Bates. Oh, I hope everything
I
works
am
out
a
for Mr.
master
Bates.
baiter
Shut up.
of...
Did you just say you're a masturbator? That's what you just said.
We used
Yeah,
that
you're supposed to.
joke
It's
last
supposed to be
time.
about how you're good at debating, and you say I'm a master debater. But I
Yeah.
was trying to bait him. I was trying to get him to move along with the story, and I just completely
You're trying to
botched that.
debate.
I was teaching an argumentation and debate class a few years ago. This
Debate.
was like 2007. And that was the joke I made. I was like, by the end of this class, you're all going to be master debaters, ha ha ha. And on the last day, when everybody was doing their final debates, I had one group of students. They brought me a T-shirt, and
Really?
it said Hassan on the back, and on the front it said #1 master debater.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Wow, they obviously like the class.
Yeah.
And for all
I
your
still wear
students listening, what did you do with that shirt, Zaki?
that. I still wear it. I sleep in it. It's a good shirt. It's very comfortable. Yeah, you get very cozy in it. Oh wait, that sounds bad given the context. I don't mean it that way. So other TV news. Jimmy Fallon. This is his first week as a host of the Tonight Show. Have you guys been watching him?
Jimmy!
I have
I
not.
saw the first episode. The Will Smith U2 episode.
I have to say, I was, when this all was announced, even probably on the show when we talked about it, I was like, what are they, out of their mind? I didn't see the appeal of Jimmy Fallon. I am eating crow because I think he's nailing it. I think he's been doing great.
Have you watched all the episodes this week?
I've watched Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I have not watched Thursday's episode.
This is what I found most amazing, was that first episode, he spends like the first 10 to 15 minutes of the show just thanking people.
Yeah.
And just telling everybody, like, how much he loves them and how it's been a great thrill to work with them and how he's just, like, so humble and all he wants to do is make his parents proud and make the audience proud of him. And just, like, he's this really, like, humble, honest, nice guy. And then you see all the, like, massive celebrities who come out to support him. Like,
Yeah.
he must just be a dream of a human being to have all these people behind him.
I would assume part of that is Lorne Michaels' Rolodex.
Right.
As producer of the show. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, don't get me wrong. But I think, and what you're talking about, Sean, is there was a bit in the first episode where Fallon says, my friend out there, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You said I'd never host the Tonight Show. Well, you owe me $100. Ha ha ha. And then at which point Robert De Niro walks out, and then Tina Fey walks out, and the bit is that they're supposed to, like, angrily drop $100 on his desk.
Yeah.
And what was funny about that was you can tell who's a comedian and who's not, because the bit only really works if you're pissed off when you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rudy Giuliani walks out with a big grin on his face, And he's like, "Thanks for bringing the show back to New York." And I'm like, "You ruined the bit," you know. And Lady Gaga comes out and she just sucks and she just ruined it and whatever. But it was and then Joe Namath, like, where'd they dig him up?
Well, what was interesting is
He
that
was just hanging out in the
he's
back.
the only one that Jimmy Fallon had to mention his name.
He had to say, "Oh, Joe Namath."
Yeah.
Right. I noticed that.
Yeah.
But very, very funny. Like I said, I've been I had limited experience with his late night show. He had definitely been getting better, but I think he's doing a great job. I think based on this first week, he's off to a very good start.
Yeah.
Well, I think because the thing is he's like someone that my parents can watch. Like, my parents are never going to watch Conan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love Conan.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm glad Conan's able to do his thing and continue to do his thing. But the Tonight Show, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon, like, he's appeals to younger people, but I think he's accessible to older people. So,
See, you know, the unfortunate thing about Conan is it feels like the Tonight Show kind of broke him. And I mean that in the sense that a lot of his best bits were on late night.
yeah.
And he's never brought them back.
Yeah. Well, he can't, right?
You know, here's the thing. I mean, if he wants to bring back the masturbating bear, is NBC really going to pitch a fit about it?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. They
pretty
might be
bitter,
kind of
aren't
bitter
they?
toward him.
I don't think at this stage it doesn't matter, right? Because when you think about it, NBC got what they wanted with Conan, which is that they basically poisoned the well for him.
Right.
He's in basic cable no man's land, and that's where he's going to spend the rest of his days. And that's not a bad thing, obviously, because he's doing very well. But he's not a threat to the Tonight Show or anything else that they're doing.
Until Letterman retires.
Even then, he's not going to be, right? Because the percentage of people who are watching late night on cable versus broadcast is just, you know. I mean, NBC propped him up, and then they just left him out to dry, basically. That's a whole separate conversation. But speaking of machinations, now House of Cards is the Netflix series. And the second season just started of that. Are you guys watching that?
I marvel at your segues, Zaki. Speaking of machinations, that's amazing. Anyway, I'm watching House of Cards.
I keep meaning to. It's in my Netflix queue. People are shocked and dismayed that I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, it debuted I think a year ago,
That's
last year February, and I was like working on this movie that was. I mean, I was working 7 days a week at that time, and so it was just no way I was going to get this thing started. And so the only reason I forgot about it, if I'm being honest here, and now season 2 debuted this past month, and everybody on Facebook's talking about it. Everybody's just being bowled over by this thing from the start. And I was like, okay. I got to go back and see what this thing's all about. And I have to admit, I didn't even have a ton of interest. I was like, I just know it's supposed to be good. It doesn't. Washington D.C. politics. I was like, we'll see. But I mean, it's really good. Like it David Fincher directed the pilot, and it definitely feels like it. There's this sort of coldness to it, but it pulls you in and drags you along anyway. And I remember, Sean, you were talking about how sometimes you just don't feel like watching shows with like despicable people.
Yeah.
And I can get like that too. And like I just don't enjoy seeing bad people succeed or something, but this show is about kind of, corrupt people, but there's something so watchable about it. And I was talking about this with my friend Michael. Hey, he listens. So shout out. No, but we were saying, it's just that's like kind of like the sign of like of good storytelling when you can have these characters, but it's like you just can't look away. Like you keep wanting to know what's going to happen next. You drop these little things that make them sort of relatable, so you can kind of understand certain things, so you forgive some of the bad things that they do. And I just feel like I'm, this is just a spoiler-filled show, so there's not much I can say. I'm about halfway through season 1, but I'm happy to tear through this and get started on the second season.
I mean, I do think the whole nature of TV has very changed thanks to streaming and Amazon and whatnot because of binge watching.
Yeah.
And I think that in and of itself is very interesting because you wonder, first of all, it gets a lot harder to watch kind of older shows because the whole binge watching, the serialized nature of product, I think people really like that. People really glom onto that.
Well, and there's two things that are interesting about that. Like, one, when you have an episode that is a nail biter. Like, I remember with 24, that was the first show I ever watched on DVD, and you'd have this crazy cliffhanger, and you could start it the next one, like immediately. Right away. You know, that was like the first time you could do that. And so there's that, but there's also, if there is a show you're kind of like, and you watch an episode that's not so great, like, you don't have to, like, decide if you're going to watch again next week. You're like, well, all right, I'll give it one more shot right now.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's good, and then you stay with it. And so it's, there's a whole new psychology to watching. Well,
it's funny because back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean, as recently as like 15 years ago, which isn't that long, the marching orders for television were don't be serialized.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to syndicate.
Right.
You know, you want it relatively self-contained so that people can tune in whenever, and it can be shown in whatever order. And that's still the case for certain programs, but the whole notion of syndication is secondary because, well, people wait for Netflix now.
Yep.
People wait for Hulu or whatever. So the whole marketplace has changed.
Yeah, they can watch it the way it was intended. Well, like with 24, because I remember they tried to syndicate that.
Right.
I would see it on some other channel, and it's like you just can't.
Right.
You can't jump into that show in the middle.
Yeah.
And now, if that, I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. But if it was on Netflix, you could watch it the way it was meant to be watched.
24 is on Netflix, yeah.
Oh, is it?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great to get caught up for people who want to watch the miniseries coming up.
Exactly right. The 13-part 24 miniseries, which seems anticlimactic to me somehow.
Which is like a cable series. Usually those are about
exactly.
13 episodes.
And well, that's the other thing. I mean, shorter seasons.
I think shorter seasons are great. Sean and I were talking about this. Sean.
Oh. See, your segues need some work, Brian.
Yeah, they do.
No, it's like because it forces every episode to be interesting. You know, it's like when you have 22 hours of television, or 22 to 24 hours of television to fill up, like, there's going to be, some stragglers and some slow episodes, but when you've only got like 8 shots at making it right, and to get your grand story told, like, it's definitely more of a challenge for the writers and the creators, I'm sure, but it makes it more interesting for the people watching because you have to cram in it, which is in the case of Downton Abbey, for example, like, every episode has to be interesting because you have so many characters to keep track of and so much ground to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's similar to the creative struggles that the makers of Full House went through.
That's true. Did you guys see the thing? The video that was going around today?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Here's the thing. Like, the internet, there's like a new thing every single day. And it's come to a point now where I'll see headlines for like a certain thing, and I'm like, oh, look, I'm not going to click on this. And then, like, you guys or someone close to me will send it to me. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. Like, that's what gets me to watch things these days. But anyway, there's this video going around today that was Full House without Michelle. And I was like, all right, I've seen this before, like the Garfield without Garfield thing. But for some reason, I had like an extra minute and 50 seconds. And so I was like, okay, I'll click on this. And it's the opening titles to Full House, but they digitally erased Michelle out of the shot.
That's funny.
And I was like, that's kind of amusing. But then what they do is they show the open, like the first scene. And it was so weird. It was like, Bob Saget walks in, but Michelle isn't there, but he's got his hand down like he's guiding a little, kid through the kitchen, and then it takes a seat. And then Stephanie says something like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then it just cuts to this empty chair, and it's silent. And then you hear laughter out of nowhere from the audience from whatever Michelle said. And it's creepy / freaking hilarious. So, I don't know.
Well, there we go. It's very similar to Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Well, speaking of things that are long and hard, did you guys want to hear me predict the Expendables cast?
Yes.
I don't even understand that segue, but
because I was thinking long and hard about this.
Okay. So we 2 weeks
debate
ago,
much, Sean?
I should give you my T-shirt. So yeah, we talked about the Expendables a few weeks ago. And Sean, you missed
which is the
episode.
all-female version of the Expendables.
It was the last episode. I was there.
Oh, was it? Oh, were you there? Okay, sorry, my bad.
Oh, were you there? Sorry.
So yes, who would you cast in the Expendables?
Okay, now mind you, this isn't my dream cast. This is my prediction. I'm predicting the future.
Oh,
You're
okay.
actually
Okay.
Okay.
This is what's going to happen. Okay, Mila Jovovich, kind of a no-brainer.
Yes, that's probably a given.
Katie Sackhoff.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
We-
I'll
most
do
of
that.
us know her from Battlestar Galactica, and I'm not going to explain this. I'm just going to go down the list.
thank you.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Okay.
Any combination of like a Jessica Biel, Amber Heard, Elsa Pataki sort of bombshell type.
Probably all of them, yes.
Any random WWE/MMA diva. Here's where it gets interesting. Some crossover star, like a telenovela or even like a Bollywood actress.
Sean,
Right?
this is like really well thought out.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Now here's where it gets interesting. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Ready? All right. Rookie agent, straight-laced by the book kind of girl. She becomes more badassified as the movie goes on when she realizes that the only way to get results is by following, the sort of Jack Bauer handbook. Lindsay Lohan,
I see it.
right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And then here's a list of some glorified cameos, walk-ons, basically the bit parts, just so people can get their faces and names on the poster. Rebecca Romaine Hassan. I mean, Stamos. No, not Stamos. O'Connell. Whatever she calls herself. Some former Baywatch babe. Probably Pam Anderson. Who knows? Here's an interesting one. Linda Hamilton.
Barbed Wire herself, yep. Who?
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton.
And she
As like the grizzled commissioner with an eye patch?
No. She's gonna play.
Oh.
She's gonna be what Steven Seagal was in Executive Decision. She's gonna be the team leader that gets killed off in the first act.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
okay.
Michelle Yeoh. Just why not?
Yep.
Michelle Yup.
Drew Barrymore will probably show up about halfway through the movie and have some like really annoying moment where she tries to be a badass and it's just gonna make Sean angry. And then the villainess, which is probably the role they wanted Meryl Streep for, we'll go
Yes.
to Sharon Stone.
I was just going to say probably Sharon Stone, yep.
And then the male cast members will include Michael Biehn, Eric Roberts, Jeff Fahey, Brendan Fraser, and Estevez brother, Matthew Fox.
That's the best brother.
Matthew Fox, and then some poor man's Chris Evans, some no-name guy, who will be the bumbling male agent that, is kind of nervous.
Oh, you mean Liam Hemsworth?
Well, see, because he was
Oh,
in
wait,
the
no, he's in
Expendables.
Expendables.
Yeah. But,
He's in
that sort of
Expendables.
bumbling, handsome guy that, well, at first we think he's nerdy and he's all stumbly around the girls, but then there'll be that obligatory, like, they see him with his shirt off and they're all like, damn! Like that kind of moment.
Well, Sean,
Like Michelle Rodriguez is like, cut me off a piece.
And there you go.
Well done. Well predicted.
I would put money on your predictions.
not bad. Right?
Let's make sure this portion of the show gets put in a little time capsule so that we can measure it up against the actuality that
If
occurs.
only there was a way we could preserve this for all time, like putting it someplace, some sort of...
No, I think once it's said,
Interweb.
it's lost to the ages. Once it's there's no going back, unfortunately. Now, Expendables is not out yet. As far as I know, they're not even filming yet. But there are a few new releases, some of which you guys have seen, some of which I've seen. So let's talk those up very quickly. Now, Brian, you've had a chance to catch a few flicks, yes?
I did. I saw RoboCop. So now we can talk RoboCop.
So
We can talk shop about RoboCop.
So Brian, you and I will talk RoboCop while Sean goes off and does something else for a few minutes.
Well, here's the thing. I bet Sean could be included in this conversation and say exactly the same things that he would say had he seen the movie. That's my guess.
Okay, so now to contextualize, we spent a big chunk of our last episode singing the praises of the original RoboCop.
Yes.
And we went in with a certain amount of positive thinking or positive hope. So Brian, how did the new RoboCop measure up to both A, your expectations, and B, the original?
Well, it doesn't measure up to the original. I think I don't think anyone expected it to.
Right.
As you called me out on, I had no plans to watch this movie. This was something I was going to catch accidentally on TNT in like 4 years. And the difference is last week, for some odd reason, I got out of work really early. I had a free movie ticket, and I was like, I want to see a RoboCop. Like, I want to see a robot, clean up the streets on a motorcycle. I just do. I want to see that. And so I was like, I'm going. I'm just going to go check this out. And the thing is reviews almost across the board had been not great, but not as bad as I thought. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I was going into it with. And because of that, I actually think I was more disappointed than I would have been if I had been expecting something really, really bad. And so, as I point out all the time, like, I don't want to be a hater. I never want a movie to be bad. I always want a movie to be good. And so I think the reason I didn't like this movie was because it actually had a lot of promise.
I agree with that.
I mean, I thought it visually it looked really good. I thought I saw someone complain about the action. I didn't think the action was that bad. Like, I thought it was photographed well. Mm-hmm. But I did see an interview with the director, Jose Padilla, and he said that while he was filming it, for every 10 ideas that he had, the studio shot down 9.
Wow.
And I think that is absolutely on display on the screen because there are some really, like, the first act sets up some stuff. Mm-hmm. Let me back up a little bit. The first movie is pulpy on purpose. Like, it's bombastic, it's crazy, the humor is, knowing, like the villains, like you said, there's a scene where a guy gets like massacred in a boardroom, and all that the head of the company can do is like, oh damn it, because it's his things aren't going to go according to plan. He can't even pretend to be. It's satire, right? And so this movie, for the most part, isn't like this movie tries to like play into what is current right now, which is grounding everything. And like if there's a Batman, like, what would he really be like? How would he really use his weapons? How would he really... So that's what this movie goes for. And there was a moment where he becomes RoboCop. And the thing is he doesn't have to figure out who he is. He knows who he is. In this remake, he wakes up knowing who he is.
Right. His identity. Like, his mind has
his identity, yes.
Right.
And he comes to terms with the fact that he is now placed in an artificial body.
Right.
And so there's a moment where he is taken to his home after he's had some time to adapt and his family is ready to see him. And he walks into the house to go face his son for the first time as 90% machine. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because there's a moment where I was like, this is either really, really dumb. Like, I mean, it felt like, should I be laughing? Because this feels really weird.
Yeah.
That like this robot man is like walking up to it and like, hi, son. Like... Or they could really pull this off. And this movie is trying to pull it off. And I got to say, that scene, they did. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh. Like, because then the son says something, you think he's going to be afraid of him, and he goes, do you want to watch these hockey games? He's like, I DVR'd all of them. Like, I was going to wait for you. Yeah. And then he, like, touches, like, his dad's metal knee or something. I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm actually moved by this. Like, okay, here we go. Let's do this. This is what I'm ready for now. But then the movie never, in my opinion, never... was able to live up to that. Like, you have this whole thing where, like, the wife wants to have a relationship with him, but the company is, like, taking him away, and that never amounts to anything. There's a villain. You got Kurtwood Smith in the first movie, who is just so memorable as the villain. You could, like, quote him right now. But, like, this one, I don't even remember the villain in this movie. And then, because he's so not memorable, they have to, like, all of a sudden come up with another villain, by the end of it. It's like, so I think... And then,
and that, by the way, the secondary villain, did you find the heel turn as completely abrupt as I did?
Totally abrupt. Like, that person was never necessarily a good person, but like to go to that, like, no, it was not organic at all. Well,
and to that point, and I want to discuss the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but
no.
In the original film, right? What made the ending to me work so brilliantly is, in the context of the original film, he has his 3 directives, and then he has the secret 4th directive.
Yes,
which is that he can't harm anybody who represents the company that manufactured him,
built him. Yeah,
right. And so the whole thing is like, man, how's he going to get around that? How's he getting around it? And in the way it's done in the film is, the bad guy turns out to be a representative of the company, and he's like, you can't shoot him, and then the boss is like, you're fired, and then that gets passed.
No longer an employee.
And it's like brilliant and funny, and it just works perfectly, right?
Yeah.
And with this, they don't exactly have the fourth directive, but they have something similar that prevents him from acting.
Yeah.
And the way you're like, well, how are they going to get around that? And then the solution they arrive at is, well, he just kind of gets around it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, and going with that, this was another thing too I had written down was there's no depth to anybody around him. So like if you're gonna have this movie again, which is grounded, the relationships do matter in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's got a partner. He's got the male version. I can't remember that name.
Lewis.
Whatever, the girl. Lewis. So he's got the male buddy kind of partner in this
Whose
movie.
name is Lewis.
Whose name is Lewis. But
Lewis.
It's a really interesting opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, who are you? Like, you were my best friend, but like, are you still my, like, do you, and they don't do any of that. And then there's this moment at the end where, the Ed 209s are shooting at RoboCop, but they can't shoot at humans.
Yeah.
So his partner is going to run in front of one of them so it will stop shooting so RoboCop can move and get out of the way.
Right.
And I'm thinking, like, I wouldn't step in front of that thing, right? Or I'd at least be nervous about it.
Yeah.
But his partner's just like, oh, I'll step in front of this thing, stop the bullets. Whoop, stop in front of the thing, run, buddy. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you a human being? Like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you just having him even wince, like cross himself or something, you know what I mean? Just like, here we, you know what I mean? Like, just make him a human. Like, nobody felt like, if you're going to make the grounded version of the story, like, you got to make these people real, and nobody felt real. And so you could be like, oh, well, what did you expect? It's like, well, with what they set up, I did actually expect something. And so that's why I left
I mean,
down
the actor who plays the partner is Michael Kenneth Williams, from The Wire.
Yeah. Great
and
actor.
he's totally wasted. It could have been anybody.
Could have been anybody.
He's not given a lot to do. And last time we talked about the scene when RoboCop goes back to his abandoned house and walks through, and he kind of has residual memories of his family. I'm like, there was more, to me anyway, genuine emotion in those 5 minutes than in like this entire movie's attempt to really squeeze some drama out of the situation. I
totally agree. And one more thing, from the first movie, again, it was, very much a satire of like the news and media and whatever. And they try to do that again in this movie with Samuel L. Jackson,
right?
Who plays this like loud news pundit kind of
a
guy.
Bill O'Reilly type.
Kind of a Bill O'Reilly. He just shouts at the camera. Like,
I smell a segue.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I just didn't feel like he like belonged at all in this movie. Like, it just sort of felt like, okay. And then at the end, they end on him.
Yeah.
And he starts like screaming at the camera,
like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and my theater had like a nervous chuckle. Like, I'm laughing because Samuel Jackson is yelling, but like it does not fit this movie at all. And then all of a sudden it cuts to credits.
Yeah.
And they play this like kind of punk rock version of "I thought the law and the law won." Right. And I was like, you're trying to do this like, yeah, man, like, get it, like media. I'm like, what? What the? Like, it made no sense. Like that's not what your movie was until like the last 20 seconds.
Now, speaking of Sam Jackson, I do want to bring this up. I feel like this is the one good thing that's come out of the RoboCop remake, which is that.
Is it good?
What's that?
I said, is it good?
I think it is glorious.
Okay.
I really do. I think this is like the best thing that's happened. And just to contextualize this, Samuel L. Jackson was out doing the junket rounds, talking up RoboCop, and he was piped in via satellite to KTLA in LA, where he talked to famous celebrity suckhound Sam Rubin.
Real quick, before we get into this, why do you have such a hard-on for this guy?
I have the opposite of a hard-on for Sam Rubin. In all seriousness, I have despised Sam Rubin since I was a kid. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, this is true. Back in probably about 20 years ago, there was this TV show. It was like a morning show. It was a riff on Regis and Kathy Lee called Live with John and Lisa, or John and Lisa from Hollywood. And it had John Tesh and Lisa Gibbons.
Huh.
And it was the same type of, just bullshit, gabbing show, right? And so they would have this thing like the Hollywood Minute or the Hollywood Update or whatever with Sam Rubin.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, Sam Rubin is this entertainment reporter out of L.A. who just acts as if he is sort of like the hub upon which all of entertainment spins. right? So even as a little kid, so I was probably like 13, 14, I was like, I don't like this person. I'm not even playing. That's true. So for 20 years, I've nursed this one-sided grudge against Sam Rubin. So he's interviewing Samuel L. Jackson about RoboCop, and he implies or intuits or makes the mistake of confusing Samuel L. Jackson with Lawrence Fishburne. And what happened next is, well, we'll play it right now.
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've been my mistake.
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Flog, you're
We may
exactly
be
right.
all black and famous,
You
but
are
we all don't look
guilty.
alike.
I am guilty.
You're busted.
I am guilty.
He thought you were Bob Dylan.
Right. That's right.
You're the entertainment reporter.
I know. I've done
You're
them
the
all.
entertainment reporter
Right.
for this station.
Flog.
And you don't know the difference between
I
me and
know.
Lawrence Fishburne.
My mistake. My mistake. I apologize. Really, my big mistake. Let's talk
That
about.
must be a very short line for your job
I'll
outside
say.
there.
No, it probably would not be hard to get another person to sit right here. Let's talk about RoboCop.
Oh, hell no. Really?
Really? I apologize.
I'm the other guy. I'm the other guy. The
I know.
other one.
Well,
What's in your wallet?
Right. That's it.
I'm that
Exactly
guy.
right.
There's more than one black guy doing a commercial.
There it is. No question about that.
I'm the what's in your wallet black guy.
Okay.
He's the car black guy.
There it is.
Morgan Freeman is the other credit card black guy. You only hear his voice though, so you probably won't confuse him with Lawrence Fishburne.
You're 100% right. To RoboCop,
There's
were you
a
a fan?
heavyweight black guy that's like putting cash down in the seats in a baseball stadium, but he's also the black guy that turns off the house, the water, and the lights when his kid tells him the house is cool.
Right.
I'm not that guy either.
Do we want to do a list of all the people that you're not?
And I've actually never done a McDonald's or a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. I know that's surprising.
Right. Fair enough.
Oh, man.
To the original.
And I'm the only black guy in RoboCop that's not a criminal,
Okay.
other than Michael K. White.
Tell you what, it's obviously a great cast, and this director does have some extraordinary credits.
You do know who they all are, though, right?
Yes, I do.
I mean, just in case they have some of them on the show, do some work.
I won't make the
Do
same
some research. Make sure you don't confuse them with those other white actors that are out there, like Brad Pitt.
So that's what happened.
Can you imagine? I mean, really, like being on the other end of Samuel L. Jackson, who's upset with you and not going to let it go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I've actually, like, of all the things that I would not want to have happen in my life, very near the top of the list is getting berated by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not for something. By the way, it's not for something like, oh, sorry, I got you the wrong coffee. It's, oh, I accidentally showed that I'm like I can't tell black people apart.
Well, that's what was so funny about it was Samuel L. Jackson says something to the effect of like, there must be a short line for your job,
Right.
or something like that. And I'm thinking like, yeah, like I'm not paid to be an entertainment reporter, but I can tell that, you know what I mean? Like I know who these people are. Like it's how. So I mean, it makes me wonder. Like maybe he just wasn't paying attention.
Oh, you know what?
How can you be that stupid?
I'm willing to bet that it was absolutely a brain fart.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was a loud, stinky fart.
It was a satisfying for Zaki.
Oh my gosh!
20 years in the making.
This was like penance coming in 20 years of just patience. But you know the funny thing is I didn't realize until after I saw this that apparently he's not very well liked just in general, Sam Rubin. So I was not alone in my irrational hatred. But turns out it was extremely rational.
It's just fun. Like after every insult, you think like, okay, that's it. They're going to get back to the RoboCop, and like, nope, here comes another one. Here comes another one.
Yeah.
He's like, well, let's talk about RoboCop. Oh, hell no.
You know what he should have done is like, you know, he should have been like, Ezekiel 25:17. I'd be like, oh, and like got out of my seat and ran away.
Hold on to your butts. Now, Brian, you also had a chance to see the Lego Movie.
I saw the Lego Movie. I went to the ArcLight and just not intentionally, but the time was for a 21 and over screening. So
Ooh, okay.
My brother and I bought beers, and we went and grabbed our seat. And then the guy, Usher, comes out and he announces the movie, and he goes, "You are at the 21 and over Lego screening of the Lego Movie, which means you can drink and watch the Lego Movie. So we're like, everybody cheered, yay! So I was wondering if this movie would be fun but a little overly kiddie.
Mm-hmm.
And my only experience, again, is seeing this all with adults, and we all loved it.
Yep.
Like, I mean, we cheered, we laughed, we got quiet when there's, like, quiet moments. I'm not going to, like, try to say that this is, like, the greatest movie ever made, because it seems like people are talking about it like that, and I don't think it is. But it was really fun. It was a really fun movie, and I think if people go check it out and want to have fun, they're going to absolutely enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they've already got the sequel scheduled for 2017.
Yeah.
So-
But I just thought it was, I mean, whenever there's like kids movies now, it's either a Disney movie, like a Pixar movie, or a DreamWorks movie. And they all kind of have distinct personalities.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see a fun, clever cartoon that didn't feel like any of those other movies. You know what I mean? Where like Pixar can get a little heavy sometimes, which I appreciate about Pixar. But this movie doesn't really get heavy. And like DreamWorks can like do these like sort of pop culture references that were like dated like a month ago. You know what I mean? Like this movie has references, but they're not like, super, like they don't do Gangnam Style or anything stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's just a really fun, enjoyable time at the movie. So I think little kids will like it, adults will like it. Just really enjoyed the Lego Movie.
And Sean, you haven't had a chance to see it yet.
No, but everybody I know that has seen it has brought their kids, and it seems like the adults come out liking it a lot more than the kids do.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, my 21 and over screening was like sold out.
Yeah.
So my prediction, based on the fact that most people seem to like it, is that Sean will not like it.
I'm going to love it. I love Legos. But I love it.
Now, Brian, you also recently rewatched Clerks.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up briefly, just because Clerks, it was on Showtime, and I caught it accidentally, but I just got sucked into it and watched the whole thing. And this movie is 20 years old now. And I think it's almost like an interesting time capsule, because watching it, it looks worse than you remember. You know what I mean? Like, it looks bad. Like, the sound is bad. But it's like, this was a movie that a guy made with his own money,
Right.
in the place that he worked when it was closed at night, like under $30,000, with like non-professional actors, and he put it into the Sundance Film Festival, and he sold, Miramax bought it, and now everybody knows who Kevin Smith is, and that just feels like that's what independent filmmaking used to be. And I'm not like on a soapbox or anything, but it's just like that again. Like this was 1994, and that's just kind of how it was. Like, you had these really underdog sort of films from these people who were like, I don't have any help, but I'm going to make a movie. And they did. And they were good. I mean, I have to say, this movie, actually, it was like filthier than I remembered, if that's possible. But it's still very funny, and like the dialogue it has that kind of like 90s talky, overly articulate kind of style to it. But it's still really
very
enjoyable.
like Kevin Williamson with more vulgar.
Yeah. But it's just good is good. You know what I mean? The guy can write. And so it's just really interesting now when you read about the Sundance Film Festival, and it's just like, Tom Cruise's new movie debuts at the Sundance Film Festival. You're like, what? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's all like independent, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like Fox. Just things change. But I just thought it was a really remembering when kind of a moment, like, this was kind of cool. Like, remembering like a guy could just pick up a camera, make a movie. And you know what? Actually, as I'm saying that right now, I guess that is still kind of true. It's different now. Like, you don't have to develop film anymore. You don't have to. You can shoot the movie and cut it on your laptop. So it's, I don't know. I had a very sort of nostalgic sort of thinking about films and filmmaking and the movie industry as I was watching it, and just
and I mean, we've talked about Kevin Smith before on the show, but I mean, it's for like or dislike his output. I mean, he played a pretty big role in the evolution of indie movies in the last 20 years. I mean,
I'd say huge role, definitely.
And not just that. I mean, I think that his ability to do a lot with a little, in terms of just his own sort of marketability, is pretty impressive in terms of he's built a kind of an empire of podcasts and whatnot, and certainly, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that he was a big inspiration in sort of getting this show going.
Sure. I'd say he's been a big, as time has gone on, I think I've found myself less taken with the movies that he's put out. And that's no slam. That's just, tastes diverge a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, he was a huge influence. Like, I've heard him say that he was influenced to make Clerks because he saw a movie called Slacker, which was a really, really low-budget movie that Richard Linklater made back in the day.
Right.
And I feel, similarly, I felt very inspired watching Clerks. Like, well, all you got to do is, like, write something interesting. And, like, I could write something like that, and I could try, and I could whatever. And I think that sort of, like, can-do spirit and, like, sticks and bubble gum and tape and, like, make your own movie kind of a spirit, really, I think he really did have a big influence.
Except
on
you're
a
in
lot
your
of people in that
mid-30s
way.
now, Brian, so that ship has sailed. That dream is dead.
Sad.
Speaking of dead in the water, I saw All Is Lost.
Are we just trying to out-segue each other?
Two can play at this game.
Yeah, so my favorite movie of last year was All Is Lost, which you had a chance to watch. Sean.
Yeah, I caught it on the plane, and really, I don't want to talk too long about it, but really, really great. Robert Redford's awesome. You kind of like the movie is you're just kind of waiting for the moment where he finally snaps, which is great because when it happens, it's sort of like finally earned because like you go through these stages of like, well, what else is he going to do to survive, and what else can go wrong, and like I would have snapped way earlier,
Right.
if I were in his shoes, and then the ending, not to ruin the ending for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but Brian mentioned that you had asked if the ending was real, like basically the very, very, very last thing you see in the movie.
Right.
And
Brian and I talked about that.
And I was thinking, like, holy crap. Because, like, where you think it's going to end, I was like, you know what? I'm okay if this is how it ends. And then then they tack on, like, just this little extra beat, and you're like, oh, thank God.
Right.
But so good. And then sort of peripherally, because, on the plane, like, you have your personalized TV screens. So the kid next to me was watching Riddick.
Oh, geez.
Which
that
looked like the most incomprehensible crap you could imagine. Like, first of all, it looks like 300, like everything's shot, but like the green screen stuff is way worse. And like at one point he like finds this like mutant alien chihuahua thing, and then he like befriends it, and it grows into this like big mutant chihuahua thing. So it's like Riddick got a dog, and then like somebody kills his dog, and it makes him angry, and then at one point, like, he's shackled up and he catches a spinning, like, machete knife on the tip of his toe. Like, he's got an altercation with this guy and he, like, kicks him or whatever, and this knife goes flying, and he catches it, like it's balancing, like, blade down on the tip of his toe, like, impossible, and it looked so stupid. And then he, like, kicks the knife up, he flips it up in the air and kicks it at this guy and, like, cuts his head in half.
Yep.
I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
So stupid.
Almost did it to me.
And then, like I kept glancing over, and it was like at one point, like it looked like all these people were his friends, and then the next moment, like they were all trying to kill him. And then at one point, Katie Sackhoff is like rappelling from this like jet, and she has this like, I want to jump your ignorant bones kind of look on her face when she's like tying herself to him, and like what is this movie about? This is like stupid.
Yeah. So the funny thing with Katie Sackhoff in this movie is I went to see it. I went to see Riddick opening day.
Oh, so you've seen it? Okay, I didn't know that you've seen it.
I did see it. Yeah, and I believe we even talked about it on the show. It was an episode when you weren't here, but I had planned to see a press screening. I missed it, and so I ended up just watching it. I had a couple hours to kill. And this was like a daytime show. It was opening day, and in the theater there were maybe like 10 or 12 people tops. It was not a packed house by any stretch. So at one point in the film, one of the other characters kind of starts making a move on her or flirts with her, and she's basically like, "I don't like guys," or something like that, right? And so obviously we know that she's not into guys. And one guy somewhere in the theater is like, "Lesbian!" And it was the weirdest thing because I was like, there's like 12 people in the theater. Who are you saying that to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just more like I was taken out of the movie, and I was just kind of like pondering the social psychology of doing that.
You're like, yeah, that's what she just said, actually. Like,
It's almost like he said it and immediately regretted it.
right.
Like, oh wait, I'm not with my friends at a bar, you know. That's like my clearest memory of Riddick. Is nothing about the movie, but just like that moment watching it. Real quickly though, I do want to talk about a new release that I just saw, which is 3 Days to Kill, the new film starring Kevin Costner, or action Kevin Costner, I should say, and it's directed by McG, which is short for douchebag. His real name is Joseph McGinty, but he goes by McG because he likes
Douchebag director bottom.
Yeah, and it's produced by Luc Besson, and this is Kevin Costner's attempt to, as I said in my review, to pull a page from the Liam Neeson playbook for late career rejuvenation. And it's a movie that I actually wanted to like, and I liked a lot of parts of it. I liked Kevin Costner in it as kind of a badass action hero, but the movie itself was not good at all. But what did occur to me is that I wonder if Kevin Costner is grateful for how Mel Gibson just went crazy pants about 10 years ago.
Why? Because he's getting all his roles?
Because I feel like he's just he's getting all of like the backwash.
I could have seen Mel Gibson as Jonathan Kent.
I wouldn't have seen him as Jonathan Kent. Okay, to be
it.
fair, I think that one
Pre-crazy. I think pre-crazy you could imagine like an older Mel Gibson playing that role.
Oh, okay.
Well, why did Taken work and this movie not work?
Okay, so I think
because Taken is kind of silly, but it's like cool.
Well, okay, so part of it, a couple reasons. I think part of it, Taken, was perfectly suited to Liam Neeson. In the sense that Liam Neeson is a giant Frankenstein monster of a man. Right? So when he's on the phone and he's like, I'll find you and I'll kill you, you're like, he's barely acting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the joy of Taken, which that's not a movie I loved, but I can appreciate it for what it is. The joy of Taken is purely... It's you live vicariously through Liam Neeson,
right,
just demolishing the Albanian population of Paris, right? and it's it's righteous vengeance, right? We've talked about it. Like you put a character into a position where you're willing to forgive whatever horrible thing that they need to do, because his daughter is going to be sold into sex slavery, right? And nobody wants that. That's just horrible. So we kind of turn a blind eye as he does whatever he has to.
Right.
And the movie is relatively short. It doesn't have a lot of fat on it. And so you go along with it. I think, and that's Luc Besson also, right? He produced that. I think with this one, it's trying to be very clever because it's like doing this very serious storyline where Kevin Costner plays this CIA assassin who finds out that he has like 6 months to live. So he's trying to make amends with his wife and forge a relationship with his daughter. And then he's also roped back into CIA duty because he has to catch this guy. And by the way, Amber Heard plays like his CIA handler. And I swear to God, she's playing 100% the same character she played in Machete Kills last summer.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she wandered into this set and didn't even realize it was a different movie.
Just like,
well, I didn't see it. Was that like some sort of like B-movie vamp, like overly sexual?
Yeah,
sort of?
and her role is like she's the CIA handler guy for the older assassin guy.
Okay,
so it's straight up like the same character,
right?
And so whenever she shows up, everything goes off the rails and it turns into like a Joel Schumacher Batman movie. Like the camera is all tilted and it's all weird and funny, trying to be funny, and then you have these very serious moments. Like it's just tonally all over the place, right? So the fight scenes and the action stuff works pretty well. I think Kevin Costner is very good in this, even though your natural inclination is to be like, I don't see Kevin Costner in this type of role,
right?
Yeah,
but I think he's very good in this. It's just the movie's just all over the map. That being said, I did see Kevin Costner just recently in a movie that's not coming out for another few months, but it's worth pointing out. It's called Draft Day.
Oh, okay. Football movie, yeah.
the football movie. It's directed by Jason Reitman, and that is right in Kevin Costner's wheelhouse. It's very, very good. I had a blast with that, and I see that movie being very successful.
Good.
Yeah.
It's set the 12 hours leading up to the draft, and Costner plays the GM of the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like the 5th round draft, and then at the very last minute they end up with the 1st round pick, and it's about all the wheeling and dealing that goes on in those 12 hours. Great cast. You've got Dennis Leary, Jennifer Garner. Actually, this is kind of funny. The owner of the team is played by Frank Langella. Costner is the GM, and Tom Welling is the quarterback. So we have Perry White, Jonathan Kent, and Superman.
That's funny.
From 3 different like versions of the franchise. But it's very, very good. So I'm glad, and I know you guys are fans of Kevin Costner too. I mean, I'm kind of just like glad to see him back.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see him aging into some of these character roles. I don't think 3 Days to Kill did him any favors, but I think he does the movie a favor because I think he's pretty good in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that is that. On to some. We got some trailers to discuss.
Trailers.
Really, we have just one trailer, and it's a big one. It is Guardians of the Galaxy. So why don't we go ahead and play some snippets from that?
We arrested these 5 on Xandar. Check out the rap sheets. Drax, a.k.a. the Destroyer. Since his wife and family were killed, he's been on a rampage across the galaxy in a search for vengeance. Gamora, soldier, assassin, wanted on over a dozen counts of murder. Rocket, wanted on over 50 charges of vehicular theft and escape from lockup.
What the hell?
Groot, he's been traveling recently as Rocket's personal houseplant / muscle. Peter Jason Quill. He's also known as Star-Lord.
Who calls him that?
Himself, mostly. He's wanted largely on charges of minor assault, public intoxication, and fraud. They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What a bunch of a-holes.
Hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling.
So, Sean, you went on record on the show a few months ago, and you were convinced that Guardians of the Galaxy, which is coming out this August, would be Marvel Studios' first big flop.
And I am prepared to eat those words because this movie looks like so much fun.
Really?
Yes.
Now this is interesting. What changed your mind?
My first impression was that it had very much this like Firefly kind of vibe to it.
The Firefly, the TV show.
Yeah, this sort of dysfunctional, motley crew of people that come together and are, forced to win the day or whatever. It looks like tons of fun. Like, I know nothing about the comic book aside from who these characters are and what they look like. That's basically my whole understanding of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It just looks really cool and it looks really interesting and very original. I like Chris Pratt looks like he's leading man, action hero kind of material. I thought the tree guy looked freaking cool. The raccoon looks awesome. Even what's his face, the wrestler guy, the big dude,
Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
as,
Bautista.
Drax.
Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I have to say the same. I was just thinking with the raccoon and it's in space and just kind of the things I had seen from the comic. I just thought it was going to be this sort of kind of bizarro, those shows you see in syndication on the weekends, that take place in space that you're, when you're waiting for something else to start. I just thought it was going to be the big screen version of that. But I have to say, oddly enough, to me, it looked like an older movie.
Yeah.
It almost looked like the way I remember action films looking, where is everything now is so digital and clean and, it looks like there's no weight to it. This movie looked kind of like it had a weight to it and a grime to it. And it looked like a fun adventure. The characters looked cool instead of weird and inaccessible. I thought this looked like it looked like an adventure I'm ready to jump into. And I was someone who was ready to sort of be okay, I don't really care about this.
Right. Yeah, well, the one thing I'll say is, I mean, Chris Pratt is having a heck of a year.
Yeah.
Between Lego Movie and this, and of course he's also headlining Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. But I think I was most surprised, not even surprised actually. Like I was pleasantly surprised to see him become a leading man, because he's not somebody I ever thought of as a leading man.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Like you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show, but it's like we've talked about the nature of the leading man and what that means now. And it seems like it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it used to be a Tom Cruise movie, or a Tom Hanks movie. And now it's just we don't have those guys. Like we still have Tom Hanks, we still have Tom Cruise, but we don't have new Tom Hankses.
Right.
We don't have new Tom Cruises. And for a while, it was like Seth Rogen was sort of this interesting study where it was like, okay, this guy's like leading movies, but he's kind of schlubby.
Yeah.
And I remember there's like articles written about this. Is this the face of the new leading man? And maybe there is no leading man anymore. And we were saying it's kind of interesting with Chris Pratt because he kind of meets you in the middle. Like he's kind of this accessible guy who could be like your neighbor, who's like kind of nice, but he's also kind of dashing. And he's got a touch of that as well. You know what I mean? He's kind of like this nice mixture of the two. So I think he's going to make for a very accessible and
he seems very easy to
man.
root for. So
yeah, exactly, and he's good even just as a in a comedic way too. You know what I mean? With the Lego Movie, just his voice. I mean, he does a really good job just voicing that movie.
Right.
Well, and I mean, in a broader sense, I think Marvel is very smart actually making this film, because number one, what it does is it keeps expanding the boundaries of the universe, of the Marvel movie universe. And it's like, you got to remember, I mean, there was a time when Iron Man was an untried property too.
Right.
So there's that. And what this does is it sets stuff up that's going to come into play probably in the third Avengers, as far as the Infinity Gems and Thanos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really shows how Marvel's playing the long game.
Well, I think it's cool too because I feel like I still like the Marvel movies, but they are starting to feel very like they're running together for me.
Sure.
And so this one looked like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Without feeling too far afield from, like this doesn't even belong in this universe. I could see this colliding with those other movies.
Right.
So
you could see it coexisting
exactly
in that universe.
Yeah.
Now, I think this allows us to transition to headlines, because speaking of Marvel properties, and this isn't specifically Marvel Studios, but 20th Century Fox is in the process of rebooting the Fantastic Four, and I would say I'm, of the three of us, I'm probably the biggest Fantastic Four fan. I would not say I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan, but everything I'm hearing about this reboot has me uninterested. And that's especially true with this week's revelation of who's going to be inhabiting the cast. So the film is being directed by Josh Trank, who did Chronicle, the superhero movie Chronicle.
Which was really good.
Which I have not seen. I have not seen that movie. It's worth
good.
pointing out. But so you did like that.
Yeah.
So based on the strength of that, they said, well, he did this superhero movie. He must be good at all superhero movies, and so they handed him the Fantastic Four. I'm assuming that's how that went down. And so we have Miles Teller playing Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. We have Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm, the Thing. We have Kate Mara as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, and we have Michael B. Jordan of Fruitvale Station as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Now, what I will say about this casting is that Michael B. Jordan is the one I have the least issues with.
Because he's really talented.
Yes. I just find it funny that Fox has put a lot of people in the position where you have to couch things by saying, I'm not a racist, but...
Well, who's Miles Teller?
I don't know who any of them are except for Jamie Bell.
Oh, Kate Mara is in House of Cards.
She's in House of Cards.
Coincidentally.
She was in the movie We Are Marshall. She was in...
She's been in a few things.
I actually got to meet her one time because she did a voice on the Tron cartoon.
Oh, no kidding.
Really?
Well, how's she going to do?
She is... she's itty-bitty. Like, she is super, super, super petite person. And the thing I remembered most is that she had this very like strong handshake and looked you like right in the eye, like almost like kind of intimidating. Just like, hi, nice to meet you, very nice to meet you, and just kind of like, whoa, like slow down.
And then she had your wallet. You're like,
But she's also her family owns the New York Giants, the football team, the Mara family.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's Rooney Mara's sister.
Yeah,
right.
so she's been in
That's
stuff.
also.
She's been around.
Yeah, I've never seen her in anything. My beef with this is that Jamie Bell, Miles Teller, and Michael B. Jordan are all 27 years old.
And
Right.
She's 30.
She's
Okay.
yeah.
So for me, the age dynamic right off the bat is bonkers. Because I'm like, why even call this the Fantastic Four? Just create a new property, because it, like I'm not even trying to be like getting on my fanboy high horse, but it's like there's certain aspects of the Fantastic Four that are worth keeping, and part of it is that they're a little bit older, that there is like a family dynamic, and this, it's like what are they doing exactly?
Who's Miles Teller?
He's kind of an up and comer, right? Like, wasn't he was in the Spectacular Now,
That's right. Yeah.
and which I haven't seen, but I've heard nothing but like crazy praise for.
And I'm sure
So he's probably one of those sort of like critical darlings, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where this is like, then he's great in this small movie, so we'll put him in this huge movie.
Right now, I'm actually just hoping that this movie tanks, because that way it'll get back to Marvel. That's
I mean, that's an interesting. I've thought about that actually, because is this movie ever going to be a hit? Like maybe there's just that like number you're always going to hit because you're a superhero movie,
right.
But like, I mean, is anyone? And this is, I guess, I kind of asking you then, Zaki, because I mean, does anyone really
No.
get excited about a Fantastic Four movie?
No.
You know,
I say that as a fan. I mean, and I'll be
like,
honest,
does this need to happen?
No, I mean, it needs to happen if you're Fox, because
yes.
X-Men, yeah.
Well, and I've said this before. For these studios that have the Marvel properties, they're willing. They're it's like playing tic-tac-toe, and you're losing.
Yeah.
But you like, there's no way you can win, but you just don't want the other person to win, so you just ruin the game.
Right.
That's basically what they're doing, right? Because when you think about it, that's what Sony did with Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Right? They basically they dropped a neutron bomb down the well and then handed it back to Marvel.
Yeah.
So I mean, once you have Nicolas Cage doing whatever he was doing in both of those, Marvel isn't going to touch Ghost Rider for a while. So it's kind of the same with this, where, like you're saying, Brian, I mean, is it going to be a hit? I mean, who knows? My gut says no. It's like, what is it about? Well, it's about, we just don't want to risk Disney getting it back.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I just had this feeling where it was like, and again, I'm not a fan. I don't know a lot about them, so I'm not judging anyone else who is excited about it. But it's just, every day it's been like, is such and such going to be in Fantastic Four movie? They are going to be in the Fantastic Four movie. And there's like all these comments and there's all this excitement. And I'm like, is anybody actually excited? Or is it just like, superhero movie, go?
Yeah, right. Right. And I will say this. I don't mind the previous two films.
Yeah.
I think they're fine. And I actually like the fact that they're a little bit simpler, in the sense that I like watching those with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is a space for that kind of a movie. So
Sure.
and I'm especially cognizant of that these days, because there's a lot of superhero movies that I'd love to watch with my kids and I really can't. But I don't see the necessity for this, other than the legal rights situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about casting that maybe isn't so great, now I definitely wanted to get you guys to take on this. This Terminator Genesis movie that we've been talking about for a while, and as I said, I really hope it has a soundtrack by Genesis. I want to hear Susudio as the Terminators are gunning down the remains of the human race. I think that would be quite good. Or I Can't Dance. But this is a reboot, I think. I actually don't even know. Brian, is it a reboot?
Yeah.
So it's
I think it's a reboot, yeah.
It's just like ignoring the previous film, starting over.
It's hard to... You know what? I've read that. It's just occurring to me what that actually means. That they're going to actually start with an innocent Sarah Connor again? That they're going to... I hadn't even thought about that. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of angry making for me.
Angry making?
Yes.
It incites anger?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. yeah.
Sorry, I briefly became Tarzan.
Yeah.
No,
but I just was like, yeah, it's going to be like, we already have the essentials.
Yeah.
You know, we know Sarah Connor, blah, blah, blah. But this is going to be a new story in that universe. But if it's like a ground-up reboot, wow, that'd be crazy.
It sounds idiotic to me, but regardless, we've been getting dribs and drabs. Like they cast Sarah Connor, it's Emilia
Clarke
from Game of Thrones, and it's Alan Taylor, who directed Game of Thrones, is doing it. So that
Boo.
makes sense. Jason Clarke, no relation, is playing John Connor,
which is fine.
Yay!
Which is I think that's good casting. Now the key role of Kyle Reese, who was played by Michael Biehn in the original film, there had been, and Brian, you and I even talked about this in previous episodes.
Yep.
There's like a long list of actors that were being mooted, like, oh, they're looking at so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. And Jai Courtney from A Good Day to Die Hard is also on the list. And by the way, I don't mind Jai Courtney as an actor. I think he's fine. But I was literally like, I'm okay with anyone on the list except Jai Courtney. I'm not joking. That was my... That was like my MO. Going
Who else was on the list?
Then, oh, God, I'd have to dig that up.
Miles Teller?
Right. Michael B. Jordan, weirdly.
He's really hot right now.
And so wouldn't you know, the person they cast as Kyle Reese is Jai Courtney.
Could have been Jesse Eisenberg.
You know, the way I saw it, I actually kept the article up because I thought it was funny. The way I saw this news was on Pajiba.com.
Okay.
And the headline was, "That bland guy from the Die Hard movie will play Kyle Reese."
So here, Sean, here are some of the other people that they had. There were 5 contenders, Jai Courtney being one. The other one was Boyd Holbrook, who is in I, Frankenstein, so that's a great credit to have. An actor named Wilson Bethel, who, if you Google this guy, he's like the young clone of Michael Biehn.
Huh.
Like, Brian, I think I sent you a picture of him, right?
Yeah, he looks just like him.
It's like uncanny. And then Thomas Cockrell, who has a hilarious name, and Sam Reed. Now of those, you look at the 5 of them, you're like, well, obviously it's not going to be Jai Courtney because he looks nothing like Michael Biehn. Like there's, but that's the way they went. And so with that went like the last remaining interest I have in this film.
I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it no matter what.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to see it.
I'm going.
I'm not saying that.
but my hopes in something special that I can look forward to, those are gone.
You sounded very sad just now, Brian.
Well, I want something to look forward to. Is that sue me?
I've been saying it for a while now with the Terminator franchise just continuing on and continuing on. It's just like I just let it go, It's over. Why does this need a sequel?
Yeah. I mean, it does not. It does not. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, while we're talking about sequels that maybe are ill-advised, Space Jam. There is a sequel to Space Jam that is happening, and it will not have Michael Jordan. It will have Michael B. Jordan though, as Michael Jordan. Weirdly. Now, I would actually pay money to see that. I would actually be okay with that if they did that. No, so this is going to swap out Michael Jordan for LeBron James.
Okay.
Yeah. So LeBron James and Bugs Bunny will team up to fight Danny DeVito, I guess. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, though. When that movie came out, that was based on a series of commercials.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right? This was Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes selling stuff.
Yep.
And everybody liked it. So they just decided to stretch it out and charge you to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Michael Jordan, I mean, you got to, think back to another time when, Michael Jordan, it didn't even matter if you lived in Chicago or were a Bulls fan. The world loved Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was a worldwide superstar. And it just feels like we're not living in that time anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
By the way, related to that, because I've shown my kids Space Jam, and a few months ago.
Oh, I think your students, your college students. I was like, why?
No, my boys. Sorry.
Okay.
I was reading an article about Michael Jordan on my phone, and my middle one, he was 4 at the time. He comes up, he looks at it, he says, "Hey, isn't that Bugs Bunny's friend?"
Aw.
Like
That's so cute.
that's how he knows Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, now it's going to be reinvented for a new generation, with LeBron James as the basketball star who it revolves around, and Jai Courtney as Bugs Bunny. So, I don't know what to make of that. Now here's my question. I mean, why? Really, that's my question. Just why?
I wonder if this is Warner Brothers'
Sean?
sort of not last ditch, but just sort of their effort to make these Looney Tunes characters relevant again. Because really, like, aside from that,
That's true, because
Looney
they were
Tunes
like they had a
program, which
resurgence
is
in the
pretty
90s.
short-lived. Like, when's the last time that there was anything really significant dealing with the Looney Tunes characters?
Well, the Looney Tunes show, it's still going, isn't it? I mean, it's not.
No, it's
No,
canceled. 2 seasons.
It just
It
ended.
got canceled.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd they cancel it? It was a good show.
Like, they canceled it because
It was a very funny show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much like Seinfeld with the Looney Tunes characters.
Really funny.
So
My brother turned me onto it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So Sean, you would know this probably, right? I mean, what was the reason behind canceling it?
I guess just not getting ratings. That's from what I heard.
Maybe it wasn't frantic enough or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, think of all those characters. I mean, does anyone care about Mickey Mouse? Like, not really. Does anyone care about Bugs Bunny? Not really. I mean, like, it's a real struggle to keep those characters alive in the consciousness of children these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Warner Brothers, they had done these CG Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoons within the last couple of years, which were supposed to be released theatrical. And they're great if you get a chance. Like, if you can YouTube some of them, you can watch. I don't know if they're like work in progress, or if they're like the official versions or anything like that, but they're really, really good. Like a really cool update, like stylistic because it's 3D, but still sort of maintaining that traditional, sort of Chuck Jonesy vibe. And they're really, really good, really funny, but like they just didn't catch on for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Which is sad because that's what I grew up with, and those are the characters that I still love and would love to see in new adventures. Not necessarily palling around with LeBron James, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, Michael Jordan. There was a whole campaign called like Mike. Like, I want to be like Mike.
I want to be. Like Mike.
Yeah, this was a time before Twitter, where like if athletes were dickheads, you didn't know it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like now we know that they're all dickheads.
Yep.
So it's sort of like, you know what I mean? Like, do kids look up to LeBron James? That I don't actually know. I mean, I'm sure they like him because he's a good athlete, but does anyone like him? You know what I mean? Like, people liked Mike. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if this is going to work.
This whole episode, we should just subtitle it like Grumpy Grandpa Show.
It's kind of been like that so far, hasn't it?
I don't understand this new Terminator with the Space Jam sequel and the Black Human Torch. I don't understand this.
But I love it.
So, that's kind of funny, though. Everything you brought up is something that has already existed that's happening again, and we're not sure if it's going to work the second time. That's interesting in and of itself.
So what does that say about us? I don't know. Well, now while we're in the realm of reboots and prequels and whatnot, we did mention the Gotham TV show a few weeks ago, and this is
sir.
This is the prequel to the Batman mythos, and it centers on Jim Gordon, future Commissioner Gordon, and they announced that Ben McKenzie is going to be playing the young Jim Gordon.
Yep.
Now, I got to be honest, I heard that casting, and I was like, wow, I'm now much more intrigued about this show than I was before.
See the OC kid?
He was on the OC,
yes.
But I think in terms of his acting chops, he proved them on a show called Southland.
That's right, that cop show, yeah.
Yeah, which aired on NBC and also on TNT.
Right.
They have also got Donal Logue in the cast. They've got what's her name, Jaden Smith's mom.
Jada Pinkett. Yeah, Jada Smith's mom. Willow Smith's mom.
Jada Pinkett is going to have some kind of a role, and I don't know. I'm intrigued by this because I feel like DC is doing much better on the small screen than it is on the big screen. Mm-hmm. Because they've also got the Flash TV show coming up, which they just announced that John Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in the 90s TV series, is going to have some kind of a recurring role on this show as well.
It's Dawson's dad for you, Brian.
That's
I
right.
remember the Flash show.
You watch the Flash show? Come on, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
And then they also have a new show coming up of Constantine, which you might remember.
What network is that going to be on?
That NBC. It'll be on NBC for about 3 weeks, and then it'll get canceled.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah. So
Will
don't
that be
don't get
starring
used to it.
the American Idol contestant Constantine? Remember that guy?
Wow, dude. You're going back to that weird middle point when people stopped caring about American Idol.
Well, I think the last time anybody ever saw him, he was like, I don't know if it was like the New Year's Rockin' Eve or like backstage at the Golden Globes or something, but he was being interviewed, and for some reason he felt
people's coats.
What's that?
Was he taking people's coats?
Well, for some reason he felt inclined to do this like ninja kick.
Okay.
And he like kicked in the air and he just fell flat on his anus, like off camera,
On
just
his
fell
anus.
right to the ground. Just because he was like acting like a douchebag. It was just like, all right, you're done.
Look, NBC, can you please just give this guy a job?
But seriously, like I'm 100% not shocked if NBC, like they would think it's genius casting.
They actually have cast a guy, and John Constantine in the comics is a British guy. So, of course, when they made the movie a few years ago, they were like, oh, raggedy older British man, Keanu Reeves. Perfect, right? And so that movie wasn't very good. But they've cast a Welsh actor named Matt Ryan. So he will be, like I said, he will be John Constantine on TV
for 3 weeks.
For two and a half weeks. It'll actually get canceled during commercial break.
What's going on at NBC?
They have not recovered since Friends ended. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like that was 10 years ago. They've been toiling away in the salt mines since then. They have not had a breakout hit since Friends.
No.
Like I wouldn't even include The Office as like a breakout hit because it's not.
No.
It wasn't rather.
Not a breakout hit, but that's probably the last show. That show had a huge impact.
Yeah, well,
definitely. I mean, because now you have all these shows where there's like the what do you call that?
Talking
the
to the camera.
confessional, talking head,
the
or whatever.
mockumentary style.
Yeah, which obviously, I mean, that show was a remake of the British show, so it's not like they invented it. But at the same time, I think that's what got people in this country comfortable with that concept.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know Modern Family, everybody loves it, but I've only seen a couple episodes, and I'm so annoyed that they have the talking head segment because I'm like, there's no point to it. Like, you're just doing this because it was popular at a moment, and like, I just couldn't even get into it for that reason.
Now, Sean, you like Modern Family, right?
I think it's USA Network. Like 2 or 3 nights a week, they run like 10 episodes in a row, and I'll admit, like, I don't find myself craving it, but I do find myself laughing a lot when I watch. But I 100%.
I've heard it's funny.
100%
I've heard
agree
it's funny.
that the talking head stuff is completely unnecessary. It does feel
Yeah,
like a gimmick.
they did that also on the Michael J. Fox show.
Yeah.
That just got canceled, and completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Made no sense, and yeah, that's kind of the bad impact of The Office.
Well, that seems like, I mean, I guess that if we're really going to dissect NBC, that's kind of their problem is that they can't think ahead. Like they seem stuck.
Yeah.
Like they're always stuck in things,
Right.
and like they can't figure out what's next. You know what I mean? Like with Friends, I mean, that was forward thinking, but like they haven't been able to think forward since then necessarily.
Well,
like,
they commissioned Joey. That was something. They had.
yeah, exactly. Well, exactly.
Well, and they canceled Law and Order.
Which got the wrath of Hassan.
for quite a while. I actually started drinking once that happened. But here's the thing: they cancel Law and Order after 20 seasons, and replace it immediately with Law and Order L.A., which they cancel after 1 season.
Yeah,
they make no sense, is what I'm saying. It's just bananas. Speaking of making no sense.
I think you could say bananas. I was like, go on.
Yeah. I can't quite do a segue that effectively, but now in Star Wars news we have the much anticipated first look at Rebels, which is the new animated series, Star Wars Rebels. That's the first Star Wars product to arrive via Disney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of important. So Brian, what is the deal with this show? How does it differ from everything that's been Star Wars up till this point?
Well, I think the most significant thing is that this takes place in between within the time span that most of the people who love the original trilogy are familiar with.
Okay.
So this is between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
this is
right?
going to feature. Yeah, so this is going to feature the ships that we like. You know what I mean? Like feature the things that we're familiar with. I think.
So this is I thought it was during the original trilogy, but it's actually before the original trilogy.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah, but it's like the birth of the rebellion.
So will it have any characters who we know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this week I've seen a bunch of things go out about like meet Zebel.
Yep.
She's a sassy technician who looks like a human except she's green.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, okay. Like, yeah. I had this conversation with a friend this week, and it was just like it just seems like they're getting very uncreative with the Star Wars characters.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
They haven't wasted
just
any
like,
time.
Well, it's just they take someone and put war paint on them, and it's like it's a creature. You know, it's like okay.
So
I don't know.
It's kind of like Star Trek, where they would just kind of like paste random
Right.
crap on people's foreheads every week.
Right.
You'd be
I'm
like,
in
"Oh,
a
we're-
I'm in
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
unique position because I know where this project started. I know what it was supposed to be. I was sort of kept in the loop of the changes that, as it went along. And unfortunately now I see what it's become. And it's just unfortunate because the intentions way back when were spot on.
Can you get into that?
I don't know how much I should say just because I still am sort of, connected with certain people. I can say that when it started, it would have been something that we would all have been very much on board for in terms of featuring.
Okay. Well, let me ask you then. What about what you see now? It kind of turns you off.
A big part is what Brian just touched on. Where it's like, meet Zebel, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't understand why. Like, the sort of Disney mentality is that they're always looking for, like, their franchise character. And it's all, like, built around research and sort of what other shows are doing. So it's like, this person has to be the cool leader, and then this person's the wisecracker, and this person's, the fat guy. And this person's, like... And it's just, it sort of strips away, like already you're limiting yourself to, allowing these characters to take any sort of like natural progression. You're like already like typecasting who they're going to be. And it's like in the Star Wars universe, it's like, no, I already have this cool guy. His name's Han Solo. Like, I want to see him now. I don't want to like see him featured in like the last scene of the last episode of the series kind of thing. It's like, I don't care. I didn't care about the prequel characters. I don't care about these new characters. It's like, I love that it's this Birth of the Rebellion thing, but it should focus on the people that we already know and not introduce us to this whole other slew of random pointless people that we don't give two craps about.
Well, I'm willing to go along with meeting new people, but I will say that Star Wars hasn't had a good track record of introducing new people. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'd like it to be good. I don't know. But who knows?
My prediction, and I can't say this for sure, but my prediction is that like seeing Luke Skywalker or seeing Han Solo or like these characters that we want to see, we're not going to get either. We won't see them at all, or it'll just be like, the last shocking moment of like the finale.
Right.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of reference to these people so that the fans can be like, oh, he said Boba Fett's name.
That was the impression I got. Like, meet this guy, meet that guy. That was the thing. The only thing that kind of put me off was I saw one. It was like, meet the sassy weapons expert.
Right.
I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to feel nearly as connected, I don't think. And again, I can't be 100% sure because I haven't seen, like the finished product. But based on sort of the evolution of this idea, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be anything that we can really feel attached to or really feel the desire to like invest our time in it or anything. I'm sure kids will love
Well, it's
it.
interesting because I haven't seen the Clone Wars cartoons, but I've heard a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So that is a quote unquote expanded universe, if you will, sort of thing that I've not seen, and I don't know a lot of the characters in that show, I suppose, but people have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, and
I think
and the interesting thing about the Clone Wars show is that was very much subject to George Lucas's just random whims, and so they had to sort of work around that, because they spent like maybe the second or third season building up Darth Maul's brother. And his name escapes me at the moment, but as kind of like the Darth Maul,
Jeff Maul,
Jeff Maul, yeah. Todd Maul, and they kind of set him up as kind of the Darth Maul-esque character on the show, and then George Lucas was like, "Hey, I want you guys to bring back Darth Maul," and they're like, "But he's dead." He's like, "I'll just figure out a way to bring him back," and they're like, oh, "Damn it!" So like,
clean up your mess.
Yeah, exactly. So they bring back Darth Maul, and in like the first or second episode, they just kill off the brother. Like all that work that went into setting up the character, it's like just like that. But the show itself, and by the way, there's like because it lasted 5 seasons, it was canceled by Cartoon Network or canceled by Disney, I should say. There's like an unproduced or unreleased 6th season, which will be released on Netflix.
Huh.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of cool. So even though had they ended it right where they ended it, I thought it would have been a good ending. I think, Brian, you not having seen the show, I would recommend just watch it like from end to end, because it actually, I've said this before, the Clone Wars cartoon is like the redemption of Anakin Skywalker as a character.
Yeah.
Because the way he is in the movies is just garbage.
Right.
And so just not having, Justin Guarini playing him just does wonders,
Yeah.
So that is that. Now, that is unintentional comedy, Hayden Christensen in those movies. Let's segue now into the meat of this episode. Thank you.
He's good. He's good, Brian.
I am good. Now, Sean, this is an episode topic that you suggested, and I think it's a good one. We're looking at comedy.
We are. We're going to examine comedy today.
I know. we're gonna see why comedy is funny.
With our guest Harrison Ford. Think about comedy pictures.
I like that Wayne's World. It's a humorous film. Wayne and Garth. They have a TV show in their basement. That they do.
How dare you, sir?
Okay, so comedy is a very, very broad topic to discuss, but I think there's a lot of sort of we can get into a little bit here about what makes comedy, and Sean, I can think of no one better to lead this discussion than you, because you worked on
what?
You worked on Date Movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
pretty much epitomizes
really should
everything we're going to discuss today.
that should actually disqualify you from most conversations, I feel like.
But I got to deliver a tuxedo to a cat while I worked on that movie.
That's the story. When I think of you working on Date Movie, that's the story I always
There's
remember.
my redemption.
That right there, living the dream. That's why you moved down to L.A. is to eventually do that.
I did get to meet Alexis Denisof when I worked on that movie.
That's right.
And got to hear him say, I grew up in Maryland. And I'm like, whoa, where's your accent? Who are you?
Alexis Denisof, for people who don't know, he was Wesley on Buffy and Angel.
Yeah.
I thought you could say I'm Mr. Belvedere.
Wesley? No, but I interviewed them a year ago, him and Amy Acker.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to him about how you spoke to him about baseball and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I remember that," and I was like, "No, you don't, liar."
I'll pretend you did, though.
and I stormed out. I stormed out angrily as a result of that. I was like, "Wish you weren't a liar." Now, Sean, what makes you laugh, movie-wise? I mean.
Oh, movie-wise, I like funny characters doing funny things for funny reasons.
Are you playing the character from Geely right now?
Wow, what a reference.
Yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. Brian, didn't you hang out with Justin Bartha?
I did,
he
yeah.
honked your horn, and you. That's not
I had to drive him somewhere, and he was like blaring my radio. He kept turning up music he liked, and then like he would honk if people were standing in front of my car, like reach over me and honk my horn. I was like, dude, stop.
Justin Bartha he played a mentally challenged person in Geely.
In Geely,
He's
yeah.
probably better known for the Hangover movies, though, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
I'm sure now. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Sean. Go ahead. Apologies.
No, that's a funny question. Like, what I'm trying to think of, like The Simpsons. Like, what makes me laugh about The Simpsons? And a lot of it is just like characters that you like.
Yeah.
Smart writing, like getting into funny situations for like ridiculous but still yet sort of believable reasons. God, that's tough. Like, what makes a person laugh?
Injury.
To a certain extent, slapstick is very, very funny. God, I don't know. What are you guys typing to each other?
No, nothing.
Nobody's typing anything.
I see Zaki.
Wow.
Dude, I can't
click-clacking
talk
on
and
his
type
keyboard,
at the same time.
And then Brian laughs. What are you saying about me?
See, we've just gotten an
I'm just
insight
laughing
into-
at how academic this became.
Yeah,
I just wrote up a couple of my favorite comedies. I was like, I like UHF.
Well, I threw this out to my Facebook community, and I said, tell me your favorite comedies and why they're your favorite comedies. Well, specifically, I said, we're talking classic comedies on the show, so what funny flicks can you watch again and again, and what is it about them that tickles your funny bone? And I actually got a whole slew of really interesting responses that I wanted to share here. So right up top, this is from Ed Acock, and he says, It Happened One Night, which is a great Billy Wilder movie. With Clark Gable and is it Claudette Colbert? I think in that. It's not
not
Stephen
sure.
Colbert.
I think it's Charo.
And
Charo.
It Happened One Night, but yeah, that was Billy Wilder, and I'm gonna find out. Oh, it is Claudette Colbert. So that's kind of going back a little bit, and it got me thinking about Billy Wilder movies, how so much of his humor was based on innuendo. And how so he kind of filled a void that really isn't really there anymore, right? Because
Right.
he made movies in the age before the MPAA, so the only way to get away, like, you had to play to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you had a movie like Some Like It Hot or The Apartment, it was built on double entendres and implication, and that's kind of where the humor came from. It doesn't really work anymore. But here's another one, Clue.
Yep, that's a good one.
Great cast, highly entertaining, makes no sense with its 3 different endings, making it a movie I think everyone can enjoy. And that's by Steven Silver. Another one, and Sean, you'll appreciate this, The Burbs. Perfectly cast and directed by Joe Dante. Also, one of the best depictions of suburbia put on film.
This is my favorite listener. Who did this?
That's by Matt Tull.
Thank you, Matt Tull.
This is Brian Mason, who went to high school with us, Sean. He says Spaceballs.
No.
Spaceballs.
That's on my list.
Can
That's
never
one of my
be-
faves here, yeah.
It can never be duplicated, and the sarcasm is spot on.
Yeah.
Well,
That's very true.
go on. Keep going.
Well, just a few other ones here. This is a good one. This is from Ali Hashemi. He says, my all-time favorite comedy is The In-Laws, the original. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. Have you seen The In-Laws?
No.
That's Peter Falk and Alan Arkin as in-laws. And it's actually very, very funny. It's very worth checking out. And it's just the chemistry between the two of them. And they remade that recently with Albert Brooks and Michael Douglas.
Right.
That wasn't as successful. Another one we have. This is from Dave Toxic. He says, "Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Airplane, Cannonball Run, Naked Gun, and the various Monty Python movies." So, other than Cannonball Run, Dave pretty much scooped that out of my head.
Well, let's not name everything that we're going to talk about.
Well, to that point, this is the last one from Doug O'Loughlin, who's one of our regulars. He also mentions Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And he says, I love all the foreshadowing, like Steve Martin leaving his glove behind, or the lit cigarette going into the back seat instead of out the window. I laugh from the setup all the way to the payoff. And I think that's the example of a good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a mousetrap.
Yeah.
John Hughes, I mean, all his movies have those little mousetraps going on.
Yeah. So that's some of our listeners' favorites. What are some of your favorites? And let's see what kind of overlap we have.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, When I started putting this together, it made me think, like, when people ask you, like, your favorite movies or your favorite comedies or whatever, like, I almost feel this need, like, I have to, like, drop some cred. You know what I mean? Like, say some, like, older film or something, or if I say that I really love Tommy Boy, that they'll, like, stop listening to me. You know what I mean? But so when I was putting this together, I was like, no, I'm just gonna, I am of a certain vintage. I grew up when I grew up, and these are the movies that I've responded to. But there's just so many I could rattle off right now, like Spinal Tap, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Dumb and Dumber, The Naked Gun will never get old to me.
Right.
UHF, Airplane, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the Lampoon Vacation movies, Groundhog's Day. But I tried to, like, whittle it down to, like, ones that I revisit a lot. And so I've whittled it down to this for me. I'm going to start with Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Right.
Hi, Corella.
Hello, Dottie. It's me, Pee-wee.
Where are you calling from?
Texas.
Where?
Honest. Listen, I'll prove it.
The stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Wait, don't hang up.
And this is a movie, I didn't really watch Pee-wee as a kid. So, strangely enough, I'm not super familiar with his children's show from, like, Saturday morning. Like, I really just know him from the movie. Right. And this was just, it's like a road picture, So basically you got this funny character who just goes and runs into scenarios and interesting people along the way. And it's so bizarre. And it's so over the top, but it's still so sweet at the same time. Like, you are genuinely rooting for this person. And when he and because he's trying to find this bicycle that's gone missing, and there's moments where he comes really close and misses it, and you actually do feel frustrated by it, So it's not just about the jokes or the weird characters or the whatever. Like, there is actually, like, a story, a fun story to tie it all together. And, gosh, so many jokes. Whenever someone tells me they're in Texas, I'm like, prove it, because I want them to yell out, the stars at night. So, yeah, exactly. Written by Paul Rubens, co-written by with Phil Hartman. So, Tim Burton's first major movie.
I think it was great. Pee Wee Herman's basically like an 8-year-old kid in this movie.
Yeah, just a really innocent, wide-eyed person who's just taking in all that. He gets scared by silly things. I think one of my favorite all-time visual jokes, I mean literally of all time, is when he's with Large Marge and he gets kicked out of the truck. When he's hitchhiking and he's in the middle of nowhere. So it's pitch black and they've animated his eyeballs, walking through the darkness. And he, like, hears, like, a growl or something. He's like, oh, I think, like, kitty. And so he puts on he has headlight glasses. And he puts on these headlight glasses and it illuminates. All of a sudden there's an entire zoo of animals around him. And he just screams, like, ah! And he switches off back to complete darkness. So, yeah, I never get tired of that movie. Similarly, I suppose, I would say Anchorman, actually. Even though it's a more modern one. I mean, that movie, when I first saw that, it was just tears. Like, my stomach hurt just from laughing so hard watching that movie. And I think what's interesting about that movie is, again, it is about, like, a kind of a lovable guy, but he's kind of an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you should hate this guy, but he's really he's just a fool. You know what I mean? He's got kind of like a decent heart, but he's just like this. He's kind of a douchebag. He's like rude to everybody. But you can't help but love a lovable guy, no matter how, boisterous or whatever he is.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany. I'm friends with Merlin Olsen, too. He comes over on occasion. It's stupid.
No, that's very exciting.
Listen, can I start over again?
Sure.
Want to say something?
I want to put it out there. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back. I want to be on you. Wait. I want to be on you.
So, but anyway, the thing about that movie is it's so broad. You know what I mean? Like he has a dog that talks, with subtitles on the bottom of the screen, and whatnot. And it's funny because that's really, and he'd have these like weird sort of catchphrases. Like there's so many catchphrases that have come from that movie. But what was so great about it is it was effortless.
Right.
They were just trying to be funny, and they made this movie unassumingly, and it became what it became. And now you see these movies try to be like this movie.
Yeah.
And to a degree, even Anchorman 2, you know what I mean? Like trying to make new catchphrases. And it's like I really do feel like that movie was lightning in a bottle. Just a bunch of guys just having a really great time making this really crazy movie. And they didn't care how crazy it was. And it just worked. And yeah, I mean, I love Lamp. All these things you can say from that movie, they're still funny. Anyway, I don't know. It's funny. Like I want to talk about these movies, but again, I don't want to get like all serious about them.
What about you, Zaki? What are some that you enjoy over and over and over again?
Well, for me, you guys already mentioned Naked Gun, but I would even go to their progenitor, which is Airplane.
Right.
09er, you are cleared for takeoff.
Roger. Huh?
LA departure frequency 123.9er.
Roger.
Huh? Request vector. Over.
What?
Flight 209er, clear for vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor? You ever seen a grown man naked? Joey, you ever hang around the gymnasium? Joey, you like movies about gladiators? Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
Yeah. And the interesting thing about Airplane is that it's so rooted in the pop culture environment of the moment that now, today, most of the jokes, like the cultural connection to those jokes is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
But yet the movie itself is still funny.
Right.
I think that's like the whole Kareem Abdul-Jabbar thing. You don't have to know anything about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar not to get the joke.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So much of the, like, I compare something like I feel like Airplane is the seminal moment in movie comedy, but it also, the curse of Airplane is that it indirectly spawned, Date Movie and all this other, who are those guys? What are they? Seltzer and
Freeberg, yeah.
But they don't get it.
Yeah.
That's just it. They don't understand what made it funny. They just can repeat the sound of it.
Right.
But like the spoof stuff aside, like Airplane still had a story. It still had an arc, and it still had like, characters that had like motivations and like you were rooting for Stryker and was her name Jane? No. Elaine. Like you were rooting for them to get together.
Yeah.
You wanted the happy ending.
Well, the thing is too is that movie and the Naked Gun movies and whatever, those movies had irony. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the jokes were funny because they were wordplay or something that they were saying the exact opposite was happening in the background or something like that. Like the Date movie spoofs, quote unquote spoofs, are just references.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
they did a Hunger Games parody called The Starving Games.
Right.
And it's
and
like
I'm sure it was sort of like, Britney Spears.
Yeah, right.
And then like Britney Spears, like, I'm Britney Spears. And then they like shoot her and she gets hit in the head and then she falls over. I mean, that's all those movies are. But that's what was
think,
so...
I think there's a noticeable difference just between Airplane 1 and Airplane 2.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And I think, because it had all different people involved. And we've talked before on this show about how sequels to comedies generally don't play.
Right.
And I say generally because you guys both liked Anchorman 2. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on that. But, already now they're plotting the sequel to Ride Along.
Right.
And, that to me is an example of like, and I haven't seen that either. But, Brian, you have. Do you see room for a sequel in there?
Oh, I think they can make 5 of them. Sure. I don't know that they're going to be any good, but like, why not? Like, just put Kevin Hart and Ice Cube in a movie riffing with each other. That's what it is. Call it Ride Along 3.
I saw. I watched the Fokker sequels recently.
Right.
And like you talk about a great comedy, it's the first Fokker's movie, Meet the Parents, and we've talked about that on the show. And the humor comes from the fact that it feels like a real story. In other words, it's not heightened reality.
Right.
And so the humor comes from the awkwardness of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And awkwardness equates to comedy. And then with the sequels, they have to dial up the awkwardness.
Right,
And
because you can't repeat yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't be surprised either, because we've already seen Ben Stiller's character be embarrassed or
So now
do something.
He's injecting De Niro in the wang with a needle.
Yeah.
And that's not funny,
Yeah.
And that's why it's this real tricky balance. And one thing I always point to is Ghostbusters.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think that what Ghostbusters does so brilliantly, and really, I mean, we could like do a whole Movies That Matter about Ghostbusters at some later point, but the idea of the humor doesn't overpower the rest of the film to the extent that we still have stakes. There's still dramatic stakes.
Sure.
And you realize for many comedies, notwithstanding like the Naked Gun type or whatever, that's really what it comes down to is that there's a relatability to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you look at something like The Burbs, right? We still like the human aspect of the characters is what we are invested in.
Yeah.
The challenge, whatever the goal is, and then it's really funny.
Yeah. Even recently, I rewatched Dumb and Dumber. It's been playing on cable, and it's like you totally you're rooting for Jim Carrey to get to the girl.
Yeah. Well, and
as dumb as that movie is, you are.
And in my opinion, that's why I think Dumb and Dumber is a much better movie than, for example, Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Ace Ventura feels entirely like a cartoon.
Right.
The sequel is just garbage, but that's the distinction to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of one of the points that I had written down here was like, you have those comedies that, like you were saying, Zaki, that have like stakes and they have a real story and real heart and relatability behind them. But then, and this has been going on since forever, like you have those movies that are basically just sort of written around for a specific actor so that he or she can do their shtick for 90 minutes. And like with Ace Ventura, for example, it's like you really have to like Jim Carrey,
right,
to enjoy that movie because it's basically him just being weird for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to talk about. This is a crazy, crazy broad topic because I do like shtick movies from certain guys if I like them.
Anchorman's a shtick movie,
You know what
basically.
I mean? So it doesn't mean that like Ace Ventura. I think Ace Ventura is funny because I think Jim Carrey's funny. But like I can't put that on the same level as Groundhog Day, which you could still put under a comedy. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like you know what you're getting. You can only judge them against themselves, I suppose.
But
well, I mean, another good example would be like Shaun of the Dead, which
sure.
Again, we've talked about that. It feels like ad infinitum on this show, but again, the idea of the stakes are real, and because the line between fear and humor is like paper thin sometimes.
Yeah.
If I didn't laugh, I'd cry. Like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that's what sort of nurtures some of our responses to these things.
And I've noticed going back, over the years, like, especially stuff that was in the 80s, like 80s and late 70s, 80s, early 90s, like, especially compared to now, it's almost like you can't classify some of these movies as comedies if you, like, they wouldn't be on the same shelf as comedies of, like, the more modern era. Like, Ghostbusters is a perfect example. Like, that's not a straight-up, like, sci-fi movie, but it's not, like, a straight-up comedy. It's, like, it's kind of like this weird anomaly of a movie.
Yep.
Incredibly quote.
I remember that when I was a kid at the video store, Gremlins was always
way.
under comedy. And having not seen the movie when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, it's a comedy. And it's like, kinda.
Yeah. I mean, when you, for me personally, my sense of humor is more kind of the Monty Python influenced.
Yeah.
That's what I can't abide, the Adam Sandler stuff, especially lately, the stuff he's been doing. I just read that they're doing a Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Blart harder.
I mean, as much as I love Kevin James, I there's no need for that movie to be in my life. You know.
Well, I'll say this though: when people ask what sort of music do you like, just in general, like I can't say what I like or don't like. Like most people would say they don't like country or something, but like some country songs are good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if it has a good melody, it's a good song. It doesn't matter what genre it is. So I think I'd say the same with comedy. Like I can't say that there's a particular type of comedy that I like or dislike. If it makes me laugh, if it subverts my expectations, if it surprises me,
you
if
just
it
know what
my
you
funny
respond
bone.
to.
Yeah, it's just and it could be. I like Billy Madison.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's dumb, but I like it. It makes me laugh. And like one of the other ones I wrote down was Bottle Rocket.
Yeah,
which is like very, very different. I mean, it's very, very dry, and sort of a dry wit. But I find it really funny because the characters surprise me, and I'm invested in them and what they do and how they relate and bounce off each other. So it's a very subjective thing, I suppose.
I just wanted to quickly mention. Sorry, Zach. I just wanted to quickly mention Three Amigos because I know that we could go on forever about this stuff. So I wanted to make sure I squeezed that in there. But Three Amigos for me, like I grew up watching Three Stooges, and I'm a huge Three Stooges fan. Like beyond the slapstick element, like I'm a fan of that sort of like snappy vaudevillian, like what are you talking about? What are you talking? Like that kind of like weird speak. Like theatrical speak. And to me, Three Amigos is basically like a Three Stooges movie with these sort of three bumbling, guys that get thrown into this ridiculous situation. And I think it's incredibly well written and incredibly well acted and like ridiculously quotable.
Let's go summon the invisible swordsman.
Some of the invisible swordsmen. Can't believe I'm doing this.
Let me see here. We each have to fire one shot in the air, say the magic chant, and the invisible swordsman will appear.
Chip, 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 chip. Nanny!
Parley, 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 hopper! That's it.
Filled with lumber, coal, and hay, and we know every inch of the way. All the needs of Buffalo, low bridge.
And we're dead, fellow. Son. Great! You killed the invisible swordsman!
He's dead, all right.
How was I supposed to know where he was? You were supposed to fire up. We both fired up. It's like living with a 6-year-old.
I never get sick of watching Three Amigos.
So really quickly, just want to bring up some other topics, other titles that our listeners mentioned. Yeah. Cool Runnings.
I haven't seen them forever.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie. This is Spinal Tap.
Of course,
yeah.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, that's
I love
good
Galaxy
underrated
Quest.
one, yeah.
That's one of those, it's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about stakes. That's a perfect example because all the characters are in a true life or death situation, but it works as a satire too. And then basically the entire Mel Brooks catalog, which cinema history would be a lot poorer without Mel Brooks having made such a big contribution to it.
Definitely.
It's true.
And with that, I know, Sean, you've prepared a quiz for us. This is going to be our return quiz.
Whoa. Yeah.
We haven't had a quiz in a while.
Return to Quizdom.
Yeah.
Just real fast, just because I told her I would. I just wanted to mention that my wife's 3 favorite comedies are Zoolander, Dumb and Dumber, and Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, that's another one that a few of our listeners mentioned.
Zoolander, when I saw that in the theater, I walked out like angry at myself that I like spent money on a ticket for it. And then I couldn't stop quoting it for the rest of the week. And then my friends went back, we watched it again, and we're like, no, this is freaking hilarious. Yeah. The gasoline pump fight? Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's so funny.
All right, Sean.
Is that the answer to the first one?
No. All right. Yeah.
We need to pick avatars. Remember?
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's just pick a favorite comedy movie.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. I'll be Pee-wee. I don't know. This is the first thing I saw on my computer screen.
So Shaun of the Dead and Pee-wee. Here is the comedy quiz. Back into it. Question number 1. Which Spaceballs cast member suggested to Mel Brooks that he needed to hire John Candy to play Barf?
Pee-wee.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman?
Incorrect.
Sean.
Yes.
Rick Moranis.
That's correct.
Ah, that makes sense.
Probably from their SCTV days, right?
SCTV.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you?
And by the way, John Candy was who they originally wanted to play Lewis in the Ghostbusters movies. Who was played by Rick Moranis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't stop doing an accent.
That's right.
And they didn't want it.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, fun fact about Spaceballs. Did you know that the Millennium Falcon is featured in the movie?
No.
no.
Where?
Yeah, at the truck stop space diner at the end,
really?
right before the alien scene.
Yeah.
Huh.
It can be seen in the parking lot. Okay, question number 2. In the movie Office Space,
another
sort of. That's an overlooked one sometimes. It's not always the first on your list, but it's a good movie.
Yeah. I don't know that it's overlooked. I mean, it's a pretty beloved movie.
Right, but it's not usually the first one you think of, or like the first 5 you think of.
Yeah.
Okay, the movie Office Space had a cameo by director Mike Judge. Who did he play?
Pee-wee.
Yes.
The what's the restaurant called? Jennifer Aniston's boss, but
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes.
That's correct. The Tchotchkes boss.
He's like, and you need to have more flair.
Yeah.
In the credits, he's listed as William King.
Well, there you go,
I
Brian.
don't know why. So hey, one.
I was gonna say Bill King.
One apiece. Question number 3. This TV funny man screen tested for the role of Ted Stryker in Airplane.
Was he on TV at the time?
Pee-wee.
Technically he was, maybe, but he wasn't
Pee-wee?
as popular as he was through the 80s, 90s.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead,
Brian.
Well, I was gonna say John Ritter.
No, that's a good guess, though. I'll let Zaki take a guess, and then I'll give you guys a hint.
I'm going to say Bob Saget.
No. He currently hosts a talk show.
Currently hosts like a late night talk show?
All I will say is talk show.
Talk show. Okay. Can't even think.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Fine, late night talk show. There's like 4 guys you can pick from.
Sean.
Yeah.
David Letterman.
That's correct.
What?
Wow.
I mean, I could have guessed that, but
he screen tested for the role.
There was no basis.
Screen tested for Ted Stryker. The role was also supposedly offered to Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, who both turned it down.
Yeah.
And you know, when you really think about it, the reason that role works is because Robert Hayes is not a comedic actor.
Yeah. That was Leslie Nielsen's first comedy movie. A lot of dramatic people in that movie, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's 2 for Zaki, 1 for Brian. Question number 4. This Chris Farley movie is an updated version of Hamlet.
Pee-wee?
Yes.
Tommy Boy?
That's correct.
Yeah, Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
The prince and the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy's the prince. His father dies. His mother, Bo Derek, is married to the stepbrother, Rob Lowe.
Right. Oh, weird.
David Spade's character is Horatio. All right.
Interesting.
Tied up.
I was trying to remember the plot to Black Sheep. I was like,
All right, last question for Alden Marbrosh. This 80s icon turned down the role of Cameron in Ferris Bueller because he was afraid of being typecast.
Pee-wee.
Yes.
Anthony Michael
That's
Hall?
correct.
Yeah.
He was going to be Cameron. Yeah. Did you know?
Wow.
Yay!
Did you know?
Anthony Michael Hall, by the way, is the youngest actor to ever be on SNL.
Yeah, 19? 18, 19?
Yeah.
He was on that Bizarro year
Yeah.
where it was like Robert Downey Jr. and
Yeah, it was this weird year where these amazingly famous people Like, they would all go on to become amazingly famous, but they all sucked on SNL.
That was the year. Wasn't that the year where they, like, burned down the studio?
Well, that was
the skit, yeah. Except for John Lovitz.
Yeah. Except for John Lovitz.
Yeah.
And then John Lovitz burned down his own career later.
Speaking of Robert Downey Jr., real fast, these were all the people that were considered for the role of Ferris Bueller before it went to Matthew Broderick. Rob Lowe, John Cusack, Jim Carrey, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Robert Downey Jr., and Michael J. Fox.
Wow.
Would have been...
I could actually see a few of those.
Yeah.
As Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. That's funny. I mean, it's such a tricky role, you know what I mean? Not to be cool, but not annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, there we go. So, Brian, I think you won that, right?
Finally.
He did.
I never win these things.
So I'll be dispensing the quiz the next time, whenever the next time is that we end up doing the quiz. Hopefully the next episode, but we shall see.
Cool.
But that brings us right up against the end of another episode. Brian, where can people find you online?
At everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I.
And Sean, how about you?
Moosehub.com, and all of us at MrBoyProductions.com, Facebook.com/MovieFilmPodcast, MovieFilmPodcast.com. You can email us at MovieFilmPodcast@gmail.com. Check us out at MovieFilmPodcast.com, which I may have already said. Yes. And take it away, Zaki.
All right, well, you can find me at ZakisCorner.com, that's ZAKIS Corner, and also at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up every week or every other week or close to a week or semi-regularly. You can also find me on Twitter at Zaki's Corner.
Twitter!
And you can find Brian on Twitter at...
Twitter!
Everything Brian.
At Everything Brian. And Sean is not on Twitter.
No, nor will I ever be.
There we go. So
Suck it,
there
world.
is that. Thank you all for listening. We had fun reminiscing about our favorite comedies. If you have some thoughts that you'd like to share with us, please do email us. And as always, leave us a review on iTunes or leave a star rating. Anything helps. Every little bit helps. And it makes us feel good. And the truth is, it'll make you feel good, too, because it is kind of like charity. A little bit. On behalf of my colleagues, Brian Hall and Sean Coyle, my name is Zaki Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Welcome, friends.